Okay, so here's question number 23. 6 different lines are shown below. Which of the lines has a rate of change that is negative? Select all that apply, right? So then obviously looking at the question, you know that on the test, there's going to be 6 different lines, right? However, how many did I put over here? I put 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4, okay? And this question is very easy. It says which of the lines has a rate of change that is negative, okay? Just so you know, just in case you don't understand what rate of change means, that means slope, okay? So in other words, this question is asking you, what is the slope? And once you find the slope, is it negative? Because that's what it's looking for. And again, I keep telling you, whenever it says select all that apply, it means that there's more than one correct answer. So we all know the slope-intercept form, y is equal to mx plus b. And we know that the slope is what? This number, the m, the number next to the x, okay? So then we're looking for the slope that is negative, okay? So then there you go, y is equal to mx plus b, and so my m is negative 2. Oh, so my answer is A, because my slope is negative. Now some people get confused and then they would see B, and then they would see 2x minus 7, and they are like, oh, Miss Choi, but negative 7 is a negative number too. Yes, I know, but that is not the slope, is it? That is actually the y-intercept, and they're not looking for a y-intercept that is negative. They're looking for a slope that is negative. And what about C? F of x is equal to negative 5. Well, this is not the slope because the number next to the x is the slope. Obviously, there's no x next to the negative 5, so that means this is the y-intercept. Okay? So in this case, the slope will be 0 because 0 times x is equal to 0, right? So there you go. So far, we only have A as the answer, but there should be more than one answer because it gave you a hint right here. It says select all that apply. Okay? So then now let's take a look at D. A line that passes through the points 4, negative 5 and negative 3, 1. There's 2 ways you can figure out whether the slope is positive or negative. Number 1, if you're having a difficult time memorizing the formula, you can just try to graph it. It doesn't have to be accurate. You can just kind of guess. So let's see, 4, negative 5. So let's say 4 is here, and let's say negative 5 is there. So there's 1 point, and then negative 3, 1. So let's say negative 3 is around here, and 1 is around here. Oh, so if I were to connect these two, what kind of slope do I have? It's like going down the slide, right? So this is negative. So we already know that the answer is D. But if you want to actually use the SMART method, which is to use the formula, then you're going to use this one. The formula for the slope is x sub 2. Oh, wait a minute. We have to start with the y. I'm sorry, my bad. It's going to be y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So then you might be like, what is x sub 1, x sub 2? It's just a group thing, okay? So I'm just going to say that this is group 1. And I'm going to say that this is group 2. And I know that 4 is x, and I know that negative 5 is y. I know that negative 3 is x, and I know that 1 is y. And because this x is part of group 1, I'm going to put a little sub 1, a little sub 1. Because this xy is part of group 2, I'm going to put a little 2 and a little 2. And that's how I know which one is x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So now I'm just going to go ahead and plug it in. Instead of y sub 2, I find 1. And then I copy the minus. And then instead of y sub 1, I copy the negative 5. And then I have to draw this line. And then instead of x sub 2, I'm going to put in negative 3. And then I copy the minus sign. And then instead of x sub 1, I'm going to put 4. So then now let's go ahead and calculate this. 2 negatives make a positive. So 1 plus 5 is 6. And when you add 2 negative numbers, you add the 2 numbers. 3 plus 4 is 7. And then you keep the symbol negative. So 6 over negative 7 is obviously negative 6 over 7. And that's why you know that the slope is negative. So I know it feels like this is really complicated. It's so much easier to just go ahead and graph it. But sometimes when you graph it, it's not as clear, okay? And that's why I'm showing you the formula. Please make sure you memorize it, but when you end up desperate, you can always graph it. So I'm going to give you a similar question, okay? I hope you were paying attention. So let's go ahead and copy this question now. There you go. And when you are done, please let me know so I can check your answer. Don't forget, we have to do 4 questions today, okay? Ready? Go. Guys, now I want you to go ahead and copy this question number 24, okay? Ready? Go. Okay, so let's take a look at this question over here. Which of the following linear functions has a rate of change that is greater than 14? So every time you see the word rate of change, I want you to know what that means is slope, okay? So what is the slope? And this time, the slope has to be what? Greater than 14. So your slope can be 15, 16, 17, whatever. It has to be bigger than 14. And here's that sentence again. Select all that apply. What that means is there's going to be more than one correct answer. And so there's actually on the test a lot of these. There's like 3 of these over here, and then there's 3 more of these tables, okay? But finding the rate of change in the tables is very easy. I'm going to show you how. But over here is a little bit different, okay? It says Jay drove 64 miles in 4 hours. So how are you going to find the rate of change, okay? So let's say Jay drove 64 miles. So in 1 hour, how many miles is he driving? You gotta go 64 divided by 4. What is that? Yeah, 16. So Jay drove 16 miles every 4 hours. So what is the rate of change? The rate of change is 16 miles. Is 16 miles bigger than 14? Yes, so A is going to be the correct answer. Now let's take a look at B. Annie painted 2 houses in 16 hours, okay? So then, if Annie painted 2 houses in 16 hours, in 1 hour, how many houses is she going to be able to paint? That's going to be 2 divided by 16, and that gives you what? 1 over 8. So then, if Annie painted for only 1 hour, she would obviously not, she would paint 1 house in 8 hours, right? But in 1 hour, how much of the house did she paint? It's gonna be 1/8 of a house, okay? Now, so that's not the answer because the slope is less than 14. Now, let's take a look at C. For him, received a signing bonus of $1,000 and then he made $10 per hour. So for each hour, how much money did he make? 10. So his rate of change is 10. For every hour, he's making $10 extra. The $1,000 don't even matter because he started off with $1,000. Okay? And obviously, the 10 is less than 14, so that is not the correct answer either. So now let's take a look at D. And on the actual test, there's going to be more than one table, okay? All right. So what you have to do is look at the change that goes from 3 to 2. Well, let's go from small number to bigger number. How many do you have to add to go from 2 to 3? 1. How many do you have to add to go from 0 to 2? How many do you have to add to go from -4 to 0? No, +4. Okay. Yeah, so the rate of change over here is not exactly the same, but that is not a problem, okay? So now let's take a look at the rate of change in the y values, okay? So to go from 41 to 61, what did you have to add? 20, okay. To go from 11 to 41, what did you have to add? Huh? Oh, man, I did it wrong. I was supposed to put this as 1. So this is supposed to be 40. And then this one's supposed to be -59. I totally screwed up. Totally screwed up. And so this is going to be, wait, 1. Oh, my bad. This is supposed to be -79. Yeah, negative 79, okay? So I'm so sorry. This is supposed to be 1 and this is supposed to be negative 49. So for me to go from negative 79 to positive 1, what did I have to add? I had to add 80, okay? And all this stuff is not really that important. The only thing that you have to understand is what is the rate of change. The rate of change is always rise over run. And so you need to put the change of y, the change in y over the change in x. Okay, and that will be your slope. So what is the change in y? Over here is 20 over, and then the change in x is 1. So your slope is 20, right? So D is the correct answer. But you might be like, Miss Choi, what about the other numbers? Well, you can choose this one. The rate of change over here is 40 over 2, and that's 20 again. What about the rate of change over here? It's 80 over 4, and it's still 20. The rate of change is always the same. So the way you find the slope is the change in y divided by the change in x. And so your slope is 20, and that is greater than 14. So again, you have two answers, and that will be A and D. Okay? So now here's the problem. I do not have a similar question for you. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to make one up like right now. Okay? Okay guys, I want you to go ahead and copy the next question. I apologize for not giving you a practice question. And then once you are done, I have to scroll down for you because this is not the end of the question. There's more at the bottom. So first copy this part and then I'll scroll down so you can copy the bottom part and then I'll help you work on this, okay? Ready? Go. So I'm gonna scroll down because this is the rest of the question right here, okay? So make sure you go ahead and finish copying the rest of the question. Ready? Go. Yay, so I'm so excited. We're almost done. Sarah is saving money, right? And we have a graph and it shows as time passed by. So as you can see over here, it's been 3 months. She already had $200. So in the beginning, she had $200 and she put it in her savings account. After 3 months, she had this much money, whatever that is. And after 6 months, she had 400 bucks. And after 9 months, she had that much money. And then after 12 months, she had 600 bucks, okay? So it's really important that you know how to read this, okay? All you have to do is look at 3 months and then you draw a straight line. I know that's not a straight line. And then that's how much money she made. Okay? And then you go into 6 months and then where is the line meeting? Over here, 400 bucks. Okay? So you know what? The question says, let's scroll down. The question says, what is the average rate of change for the amount of money in dollars per month from month 0 to month 12? Oh, wow. Again, we're seeing the same word again, rate of change. And rate of change again means what? Slope. You should be sick and tired of this by now, right? Because I'm asking you the same thing over and over and over again. What is the rate of change? The rate of change is the slope. Okay? So, in order for us to find the slope, we got to find 2 points. Shh. And obviously, I have my first point here. The next point that I have to pick has to be right smack, okay, in between the 4 corners so you can count. So you're going up by how many, guys?
1.
No, you're going from 200 to 400. So how many is that? 200 to 400. Yes, you're going up by $200. And then you're going to the right by how much, guys? This is 3 and this is 6. So how many? 6. You're going to the right by 6 months, okay? So what is 200 divided by 6 months? Well, let's see. I can simplify by dividing top and bottom by 2. So that's 100 over 3. And if I actually divide this, this is going to be $33.3 per month. So every month, okay, I am making $33.33 at the bank. Okay, so in dollars per month from, what is the average rate of change? Well, it's 33.33. In case you're not so clear, what you have to do is, it says from month 0 to month 12. So you would have to look at month 12, and then you'll go from here to there. So you went up by $400, and then you went to the right by 12 months. But when you divide it, you're going to end up with the same. Divide the top and the bottom. Wait, 400, and then 12 months. So divide top and the bottom by 4. So that's going to be 100 over 3. And you're going to get the same answer, okay? Alright. And so that's it. Basically, this question is just asking you to find the slope. Okay? And so again, I do not have a similar question for this one. It's very straightforward. You just have to learn to count. You're going from 200 to 400. So how many are you going up by? Not 1, but 200. Just remember that, okay? Alright, so now we're done. Let's move on to the next question. Okay. Yay, congratulations. This is your last question. So please go ahead and copy this. Okay, so we can go ahead and work on this. Ready? Go. Okay, so it says, which of the following graphs represents a function of the form y is equal to, y is equal to ax plus 1, okay? So I want to write down the equation for you really nice and big so you can see. The equation is y is equal to ax plus 1, okay? And so what you have to realize is, what is your slope? Your slope is a. So that means your slope can be anything. It could be a line like this, like that, like this, or like that. It doesn't really matter, okay? But what we know for sure is that our y-intercept is what? Positive 1. Okay? So, for question number 26, you have about 5 or 6 different graphs that you have to choose from. So, for example, option A would look like this. It would start with 1 over here, and it would have a graph that looks like that. Is this the correct answer? Yes, it is, because the y-intercept is at 1, and this is the graph. If you have another option like this, that says B, and then you might have something like this where the 1 is right here, and the graph goes like that. Well, is this the correct answer? No, because the y-intercept is 1. This one is the x-intercept. So B is not the correct answer. You might also have option C where you start off at 1, but it's just a straight line going that way. Well, is this the correct answer? Yes, because your slope can be 0, because A means it could be any number. So yes, C would be correct. So what if you had something else? What if you had an equation like this, a graph like this, and this is 1, and the line goes up this way? Would this be your answer? No, it wouldn't be, because the y-intercept is 1, and this one shows that the x-intercept is 1, okay? So always keep in mind when it says select all that apply, that's what you're looking for. And in this case, the most important thing is that you know that the slope is A, so it could be any kind of different line, but your y-intercept for sure is 1. And with that, we are done with the review for finals, okay? I wish you the very best, and I hope that you are paying attention.